Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Parambaram. Today we are in conversation with Arun Sitaraman, who is president of Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation in the US. We are going to find out more about this organization and its activities from him and those who work for this organization. Welcome, Arun.
Thank you, Aravind. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Nice to be in this conversation with Aravind Sitaraman.
Thank you. So, walk us through KKSF. Give us a brief history of this organization and what is it that you guys do?
Yeah. KKSF is a 501c3 non-profit organization that is registered in the state of New York. And it has been providing exemplary service, social service, cultural service, and so on from 1990 all the way to the present. There were two wonderful founders who established KKSF in the state of New York. One was CPA L. Shantikumar, and the other one was Professor Andali Raghunath. And then we have historically seen many wonderful leaders who have taken over the reins from these two founders and built up KKSF to what it is today. And some of the key volunteers who have provided exemplary service are Sri Guru Ayyappan and current board members including Ramesh Swami, Venkat Gopalan, Sitaraman.
When you say it's registered in New York, is it applicable to all of the United States or just in New York?
It is an entity which is an incorporation,
Okay.
and it's a non-profit incorporation registered in the state of New York. And all people across the regions who are volunteers for this organization are affiliates to that one entity.
Is there a membership or is there anybody can join and anybody can be part of its activities?
Yeah. As an NGO, it is a non-governmental organization, a non-profit organization, and therefore all volunteers that subscribe to Sanatana Dharma and to the principles of the Guru Paramparya of Sri Kamakoti Peetham are welcome to join.
Okay. And what are the activities? What activities do you guys do?
Okay. Since May 2021, we have had very specific directives from our Guru. And this is the current Shankaracharya of Sri Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham. 4 specific directives from our current Acharya, Pujya Sri Jagat Guru Shankara Vijayendra Saraswati Swamiji of Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham. And the 4 directives are that the first is to really bring the community together as the community comes together in the context of a Ratha Yatra. And that's important because we are all pulling the Ratha for a very specific purpose. And in this case, the purpose is that of Dharma, the preservation, the propagation, and the protection of Sanatana Dharma. The second directive is that KKSF should be a bridge that would integrate all communities across the United States to the root, which is Bharat. The third principle is to really support activities both in the United States and in India, that is Bharat, under 3 pillars or towers. One is education, the other one is wellness, and the third one is culture. So if you use the traditional vocabulary, it's Vedam, Vidya, Vaidya. And of course, the 4th very important directive is to completely co-opt the next geners in this journey to make sure that they assume very specific leadership position to build KKSF at scale.
The focus seems to be a lot on replicating the activities of in Bharat and getting those who are in the US connected to these activities here, and also involving a lot of young people and bringing many people into the fold to participate in this thing. Right?
That's a good summary. That's a good summary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the activities that you have for the young people, because the focus is on the next generation, and that's what we are all working towards. So tell me about that.
The programs that we orchestrated for the next geners were really based on an ideation workshop that we had conducted with youngsters across the United States to understand their motivations, their requirements, their needs. And out of that emerged an idea of clubs. The clubs are essentially at the very first phase of integrating the youth into the next gen program within KKSF. And as part of that, we decided that we would define very specific clubs to establish early connections between youngsters and their parents as well. And these clubs included storytelling, these clubs included chanting, and also yoga and health, and so on. So many of these clubs. Now that's the first phase, to establish the early connections. Now the second phase is to really build a fraternity, a solid fraternity that would establish a very strong momentum for continuity. And as part of establishing the fraternity, we coined an acronym called Dharmics to create a cool factor. So Dharmics acronym really stands for Dharma Mixers. And this was blessed by our group. And with that anchor, we have orchestrated a couple of programs. One is Dharmics Bites. This is to bring awareness about our own culture, whether it is historical awareness, whether it is our scientific background, whether it is achievements of our predecessors, or contemporary issues and challenges faced by the community across the world. So with this awareness, we become much better informed as mature adults and also as next geners. So we become more equipped to handle situations in college, in high school, in the workforce, and, like I said earlier, to build a strong fraternity based on knowledge. And there's a phase 3. The phase 3 is really to establish continuity. So we have built the early connections and then built out a strong fraternity and then transformed that into cultural continuity. And the way we do that is, again, through the Dharmics anchor. We have launched a couple of programs, and it's not exhaustive. We will be orchestrating other programs as well. One is a mentor club, where the children could get together and learn from a wise person who has been there, done that in entrepreneurship, and learn the skills of entrepreneurship so they can co-create new ideas, new themes, new innovations, and so on and so forth. And we have also launched Dharmics Matrimonial. Dharmics Matrimonial is really bringing this fraternity together and providing them with the opportunity to get married amongst themselves. And we are also looking forward to orchestrating programs that will establish a network between these youngsters in the KKSF Next Gen program. We are also looking forward to devising new programs whereby we will establish a big brother, big sister network, which is going to be a lighthouse model to light the path for the youngsters so they can continue on the path of culture and in collaboration with one another, leading to successful Dharmics Matrimonial and leading to successful job opportunities, leading to successful internships in colleges and other places as well. So that's overall picture of what we are thinking about, a three-phased approach. The tagline for the Next Gen program, and also key initiative within the Next Gen program, which is the Big Brother Big Sister Network, is Samskriti via experiences. Samskriti via experiences. That is going to be extremely critical. The end objective is really to create a Hindu youth confluence, bringing all of them together so they can traverse this journey all the way from early connections to matrimonial.
Sounds like a wonderful set of activities that you've created. that connects people back to their religion, their culture, and their heritage, and also help leverage their commonness amongst them, and also create a network for these people so they can be successful going forward. So it looks great. Now, US is such a large country. Are these done in local chapters, areas, virtually, or leveraging technology? How does it work?
That's a great question. We have volunteers that are spread across the nation in various states. And one team that we have brought together is the One KKSF team. One KKSF as a concept is to remove all seams, to make the organization seamless across state borders, across regional borders. It's really to bring all the volunteers together on a single platform, working under a common framework that is applicable consistently across all volunteers, and subscribing and signing up for leadership roles in an organizational structure that is going to be broken down into 3 specific areas. Kanchi Kamakoti is all about setting up our teams to be more engaged. The organization structure is going to be based on breaking down Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation into 3 parts. Foundation is the foundational aspects of Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation, which are more specific to the governance, risk management, and compliance aspects of the entity. These would include functions such as banking, such as legal, such as accounting, finance, IT, and so on and so forth, the support functions. Building upon that is the Seva part of it. And within the Seva part of it, we will focus on the 4 specific towers or pillars, the work streams, which are culture, which is Vedam, Vidya, which is education, and Vaidya, which is health, along with next gen. That's the model for the Seva. And going 1 layer up, we have Kanchi Kamakoti. Kanchi Kamakoti is really about branding. It's about messaging. It's about content creation. It's about devotee, donor, disciple outreach and connect, right? And making sure that people are fully engaged with our organization.
Looks like yours is a completely volunteer-run organization, and there are no employees per se, and you're hitting the operational, the programs side, as well as the connect back to Bharat, all of them through a complete range of volunteers that have come together and participate in all these things. Now, there is a question in some people's minds in the US saying, hey, you know what, we are no longer living in Bharat and we are living in the US. Why do we need to have a connect back to Bharat? And what is it that we gain from that connection? So what is your thought process?
Great question. But I first must acknowledge all the volunteers within KKSF. They have done a phenomenal job across all the different geographical regions to really contribute to what KKSF is today. And we are really coming together as this One KKSF team to look at what next in terms of growth and scale for the organization. To the very specific question that you asked, Pujya Acharya himself has explained this to us. All our roots start with some kind of a rural setting in Bharat. And for many historical reasons, people have moved on to cities, to port cities, and then to faraway destinations. So it's like this large banyan tree that is spread across the world. And if the root of the tree is not nourished, is not healthy, then it is a matter of time that the tree is going to fall. So it is extremely important to have the focus, the connect with Bharat. Reason is simple. As I said, we are connected to our roots, and the root starts with our rural setting. So we are interested in connecting back to our rural villages, to our rural devatas, to our Ishta devatas, to our Guru Parampariyas, and adhering to the key principles of our Gurus, which are the driving factors of what KKSF is all about.
So connecting back to your Grama Devata, your Kula Devata, and your Ishta Devata,
That's right.
and if you can, using the banyan metaphor.
Correct.
So if you take care of all the branches and everything, okay, that is great for a short period of time, but the root itself is not attended to, therefore it will drop and it will implode. Is
Exactly.
basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
So you mentioned interesting 3 words before, which I want to dwell on a little bit. You talked about devotee, donor, and disciple. So tell us some more about that.
Sure. A devotee is someone who comes to solace. They have personal afflictions and they are looking for solace. And we have to create the pathway for them to ensure that they are provided with that solace in time. A donor is somebody who is not only a devotee but also contributes generously. And many of our donors do across the nation, and they have done it consistently across all these years to various activities in Bharat. And then the disciple is one who actually comes in search of what might be the most benefit, what might bring the most benefit to our gurus. So they are trying to see what is that problem that the guru is trying to solve and how they may fit in to that problem statement and how they could be contributors to the solution to that problem.
So a donor is also a devotee. Disciple is also a donor in terms of time and money, and also a devotee. So in what you're saying is these are 3 layers of people who interact with this. So why is it important to look at what the objectives of the guru is, and why do we need to work towards that?
Yeah, it's a great question. The guru in our system is really the guiding force for the society, for the community, for families, and for the individual. They have this big picture view in these different layers. So they know exactly what needs to be done when for the larger society, and that's the key. So we have to therefore inculcate this understanding across our community base to ensure that everybody bubbles up to becoming disciples, and disciples who are leaders who will take on those responsibilities that will help solve the pressing problems of our guru.
So in other words, what you're saying is everybody needs to graduate from being just a devotee. All of us have some issue or the other in life. Nobody is perfect, nobody's got a perfect life. And then graduate to become a donor, to contribute your time, money, and other things. And also become a disciple, in some ways a leader of society, of communities, and take on the mantle of some of the objectives the guru is giving you, so that you can pull the society, community, and religion and dharma forward.
Absolutely right.
Okay,
Absolutely right.
fantastic. Now, is there a way that you're connecting the youth from the US? Most of them, are in the US, born and brought up in the US. Some of them may have traveled to India, may have had limited experiences in India. Do you have any plans or programs that enhances their experience of India and give them a more immersive understanding of Bharat and our religion?
Absolutely. So one of the programs that we are working on under the guidance of our guru is really to create a pathway for our next generation to travel with their parents as well to Bharat together as a group, as a community, to really experience the various aspects under the 3 pillars or towers: culture, education, and wellness. And to that extent, we are in a phase of planning where we are creating a committee in the United States and also in India that could collaborate together to create a blueprint for this. And we are hoping to launch this for next summer, 2025, that is.
Fantastic. So what age group would that be?
So we are looking at age groups that are middle school, high school, college, and workforce. So we are open to bringing all of them. And it's just that our planning needs to take into account these different age groups to make sure that there is fantastic engagement possibilities, workshops, and all that would keep everybody immersed in this experience as they go through this journey in India.
So many kids want to experience life with not being under the protective umbrella of their parents, and they want to explore things of their own. And of course, the parents want such experiences to be in a protected environment and safe environment. So it's a little bit of a conflict between these two. How are you going to balance those?
Okay, so we have this idea of front office and back office. So in the front office, we want the youth to be leading. So we are providing that clear space and the comfort zone where youth in the US can work with youth in India, right, as they travel through the various experiences in this Roots program, Dharmic's Roots program. So it's going to be critical to orchestrate it, while in the back end, we have all the mature adults enabling the success of this program by working diligently with the youth leaders who are the front office to make sure that the T's are crossed, I's are dotted.
This program that you're planning to bring in the children and have the parents supported is fantastic for those who can actually do it. Are there any programs that you have that anybody can participate in? I know that Periva has used the word common maximum program. He doesn't like the minimum program. He likes to look at a bigger picture. What is the common maximum program that anybody can participate in?
So we have various programs that engage the community with Kanchi Kamakoti Seva Foundation. Under the culture pillar, we have the various Jayantis and Aradhanas that we conduct periodically, where we invite the community to participate. And then we also have the Shankara Vijaya Paduka Yatra, where we take the Padukas of our Acharyas to all households that are registering for this Paduka Yatra in different localities. So these are programs that engage the community and connect the community directly with Srimadam and the Guru Paramparya. Now, besides that, we are planning to have a Dallas meet, which is more or less like a strategy meet year over year, starting this year, to ensure that all key volunteers and leaders all congregate in one place so we can plan the strategies for 2025, where we will expand the scope of our engagement with the community in terms of various activities under all three pillars. That's work in progress. So stay tuned for whatever is coming.
Many of the activities that you're talking about is contributing time or participating in activities that you have. There are several programs in India to protect the Veda, to provide education and for welfare. It requires financial participation. How can people in the US participate in these things? What are the minimum things they can do? What is the maximum they can do?
Sure. Our donors are fantastic. They have been supporting this organization for 30 plus years, and they continue to be extremely generous. We have multiple levels of suggested giving. The base suggested level is what we refer to as a membership level, which is really $1 a day program, which is $365 a year. The second level is more in terms of sponsorship, sponsor a child, for example. And that is essentially a program where people can contribute at that level with a contribution of $1,001 a year. Then we have a ownership level, which is multiples of that, so $5,001 per year. And then we have a patron level, which could be even a bigger contribution at $10,001 per year. So these are suggested levels. This is not to preclude anybody who wants to give less or more. They can certainly give more or they can give less. So for that we have an other category as well, where people can contribute less or more.
So you're not excluding anybody from not being able to contribute, and you're not setting an upper limit. And of course, there's no upper limit. Anybody can contribute more and more. The challenge though is that if there are multiple people in a family, the expectation is that they each can save $1 per person per day, and then pool that together and contribute. Is that right?
Right. So, the idea of the piggy bank is very popular in the US, where people can encourage their children to save up their little changes, and they add up pretty fast. By the end of the year, they may even go over 365. So I think that is the key, to engage the community, to give them the many ways by which they can contribute, and provide creative ways to also engage the next geners into this giving program.
So this is reminiscent of Mahapariva's plan of Pidiarsi Thittam, when Vedas during after independence, and there was a lot of famine, the Veda Padashalas were not being funded. So he started the Pidiarsi Thittam, where every family can give one handful of rice, and that is pooled for the survival of the Padashalas. And now the Padashalas have grown big. Is it similar to that same concept?
It is exactly that. The whole idea was derived out of that. We derive all our programs and all our engagement with the community based on a precedence that has been set up by Sri Madam and the Gurus of Sri Madam.
Okay. So the kids who are born and brought up there tend to think that, our traditions, our religion, our dharma may be outdated, or it's not relevant anymore to their lives. Or how do you address those kinds of conflicts?
Yeah. The Dharmics Bites program is really to bring more education and awareness to not only youngsters but also adults. Unfortunately, there's discontinuity in even adult thinking, mature adult thinking. So how do we bring that information to them? So we have many expert series presentations by experts who bring a historical context, who bring scientific context, who bring various contexts. And as we speak, we have one by Dr. Raj Vedam, who is providing a model-based approach to bringing awareness and education to the community at large. And that way, he brings a scientific perspective into how to bring education in a very simply defined, simply presented manner.
Okay. So in other words, it's about building awareness, shaping a perspective, getting a perspective of where they are and where they came from, and also try to be more proud of their background and carry that forward.
Exactly right. So part of the problem or the misunderstanding amongst the children is because of this disconnect with information. If you empower them with information, then they become much more aware, more informed, and therefore they would become more self-confident, if you will, and they will start appreciating their own heritage, their own culture more.
So some of the children in the US that we've come across, they talk about how they are teased in school. People ask them in, sort of embarrassing questions, and they put them in a corner of some kind. Are you folks dealing with those kinds of issues as well?
Children do face those problems. But what we do is we are collaborating with various organizations who have had phenomenal experience in these areas. So some of them are the Hindu Parents Network. Then we also have the Hindus on Campus Network. And we are also bringing other organizations into the fold as well with such experiences. So instead of reinventing the wheel, we leverage the information that's already out there for the benefit of the larger group.
So you're also dealing with this Hindu-phobic sort of movement that is going on. A lot of people are use derivative terms against Hindus. You're dealing with those things also.
Exactly.
In collaboration with other people.
Exactly. So we did invite an expert speaker, Prasiddha, who with her faculty in Rutgers was able to create a research paper out of her trailblazing research on Hinduphobia, where they were able to aggregate social media feeds from various social media sites and were able to identify the hotspots or clusters where these ideas of Hinduphobia originated from. That was extremely well received by our community. So we plan to do this continuously to make sure that people become aware of contemporary issues and are informed and are better able to tackle this, whether in school or in workforce.
So you're creating a lot of tools and sources of information for people to rely on and feel, okay, this is not alone, I'm not the only target, it's a bigger thing that's going on. And it also acts as a magnet to bring people together because if you're divided, you will fail. That is there. Now, in the Indian American society, in the population in the US has been stated as the most affluent and most successful community in the US. How is there a plan, or are you looking at ways to bring that expertise and that learning and that success and share it with other Bharatiyas in India, in Bharat?
Yes, so there is a plan where there is going to be cross collaboration between academics. So we are starting at it now and we want to build that out into a real program. And this is pretty much based on an open university format where children in India could be augmented with special skills that are unique in the United States, and children in the United States can be empowered with information and skills that are unique in India. So that's something that's work in progress, and stay tuned.
Okay. Are there any things that the Indian Americans need from the Kanchi Matam or its devotees who are in India? So when I say devotees, I'm talking about the 3 levels that you talked about. Is there anything that can be provided from here to help Indian Americans?
Yes, I think the people here are closer to the root and therefore closer to more of the culture on a day-to-day basis. Although, people in the United States are not too far behind. But creating this collaborative framework, the network model, whether it is in the education pillar or tower, or whether it is in the health sphere, or whether it is in the culture sphere, is going to be extremely, extremely important. Whereby, as our tagline is going to be, is really about creating this Hindu confluence by integrating communities and bringing them together. So with that said, I would say that this collaborative network model is going to lend towards that objective in a very big way.
Fantastic. Looks like you have a very long road ahead of you and you got some great plans in terms of where you want to take this organization and activities and bring a cohesion amongst various communities there and build it back to the Matam and the work that is done in the thing. This is fantastic. Any closing comments from you?
Well, this has been a fantastic journey since May 2021 and we are building this a brick at a time, if you will, towards achieving the vision and mission of our Guru Paramparya. And we have democratized decision making within KKSF. It is not vested in the hands of a few. So we have fully co-opted all leaders across the geographical boundaries of the United States to participate fully in this strategy to execution in the purpose of achieving vision and mission of our Guru Paramparya. The key thing is, all this takes money. All this takes a lot of time. We need more hands on deck. And we are really, really looking forward to inviting any well-meaning people who are disciples, devotees and donors to fully participate in this at whatever time contributions that they can make, whatever financial contributions that they can make, and also whatever efforts they can provide along with the skills. Everybody has special skills. If they can bring all that together, then we can work collaboratively together to harmonize all that to make this successful for our Guru Parambara.
This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. So there you heard it, folks. The most important message is that how can people come together? Sanatanis in the US can come together and participate in a much more focused and concerted manner to not only provide nourishment to the roots here, but also enrich themselves through such participation in the various programs over there, as well as the immersive programs that they are planning to create here. So I do hope that all Indian Americans would participate and be part of this great movement. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara.
Namaste.